Jeffrey Sachs is joining us now to provide insight on China-U.S. relations. He's the president of the United Nations Sustainable Development Solutions Network and the director of the Center for Sustainable Development at Columbia University in New York. And Jeffrey, it's great to talk to you. You and I have talked about the importance of this relationship in the past, the importance of the thaw and these tensions. Both Xi and Biden are here. They've arrived in San Francisco. What are your hopes for these bilateral talks?
I'm hoping that they have a good, decent discussion, that we are a good host for President Xi, and that we get this relationship back from crisis, back from the brink. It's been a terrible couple of years of rising tensions, unilateral moves by the Biden administration on cutting exports to China of high-tech financial sanctions, continuing the unilateral trade restrictive measures, and so on. And it's taken a toll. And the tensions over Taiwan have risen to really terrible, frightening proportions, open talk of war, and so on. I think the administration realizes it went too far. The U.S. is overextended in foreign policy crises. Ukraine was bad enough. Now there are two raging wars in which the United States is a major protagonist. I think the Biden administration understands that it needs to dial down the tensions, and that's what I hope comes out of this meeting.
Jeffrey, expectations have been tampered down, I think, by both sides, that people don't get their hopes up too high. You've spent a lot of time with world leaders, so you know what to look for. What do you be looking for in terms of the statements afterwards? And where do you see areas of where both of these sides can find common ground?
Well, first, I'd like to see courtesy, because even basic courtesy was missing in some of the meetings of senior U.S. and Chinese officials during the Biden period. There was out-and-out rudeness by the United States, in my view, in Anchorage, and just inappropriate behavior. Also, the U.S. On critical occasions launched unilateral measures, for example, tightening restrictions on trade with China in the very context where senior U.S. officials were flying to Beijing for meetings. That also was inappropriate. It's not how to deal with China in foreign policy relations, where respect is extremely important. I hope that on perhaps the most critical issue of Taiwan, the United States clearly and unambiguously restates the one China policy. Playing around with that is dangerous, unwise. Nancy Pelosi's trip to Taiwan as speaker was absolutely unnecessary, damaging, provocative. We don't need to play games in foreign policy that way. So I hope that this is a straightforward, respectful meeting. I hope that they announce further high-level consultations, because when you have these two giants with complex relations, there needs to be systematic talk. There needs to be regular dialogue among the economic side, among the military officials, and in other areas. So that's another area where I'm hoping that there will be an announcement of ongoing, respectful dialogue and negotiation. And this could absolutely emerge from this discussion. There are many practical areas where cooperation is vital, such as in climate change, green energy, and so forth. And maybe we'll see some good news from that.
Right. Well, let's certainly hope so. Jeffrey, always a delight talking to you. Thanks so much for your insights.
Pleasure to be with you.